pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We'll move to the next item, approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
First and a second, any additional discussion?
There's one thing I was contacted this week about adding something to the agenda. I've spoken to a couple of people. I do not think it can be added. I'm going to ask Kristen to kind of explain why it was the Whispering, what's the name of it?
Whispering Winds.
Whispering Hills?
Whispering Winds.
Whispering Winds.
So you just had a question of something that didn't get added. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I am. It was discussed at plan review that the final plat would have to come back for reapproval because of some changes, but it was never submitted, in the submittal cycle. So we never got copies of it. It was never reviewed, and I still don't have any copies of it. So I reached out to the developer and the surveyor to let them know it'll have to be on the next agenda if they get it turned in by the 20th. So.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Good answer.
Yep.
Good. Any other additional discussion for the agenda? First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We'll go into citizens' comments. Check and see if we have any. No,
sir.
No citizens' comments tonight. Thank you. Next item will be approval of the minutes for the January 9th, 2018 regular meeting.
Move to approve.
First, is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, guys. All right, we'll move into new business. Item 1, final plat, Cumberland Estates Phase 2, 44 proposed lots on 12.1 acres. Parcel located at 7424 Cumberland Drive, tax map 47, parcel 66.04, property zone R20 PUD, property owned by Cumberland Estates LLC. We do have some staff comments there. I'm going to ask Mr. Jenkins to read for me.
Yes, sir. Construction plans have previously been approved and a performance bond posted. There are no technical staff comments from planning or engineering pertaining to this item. All requirements have been met.
We have a representative here tonight for this project. Yes, sir. Would anyone like to make a motion or have any questions for the applicant?
Motion to approve.
First.
I'm going to second the motion.
Second. First and a second. Any additional discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, sir. Item 2, a new business. Recommendation to the Board of Commissioners on the rezoning of property requested by Susan Greer, property located at 7506 King Road, tax map 69, parcel 120, 5.35 acres, current zoning district AR 15A, proposed zoning district RS 40. We do have some staff comments as well. Mr. Jenkins, if you could read those in for me.
Sure. There are no technical staff comments from planning or engineering pertaining to this item. All required documentation has been submitted. The applicant, Ms. Susan Greer, is requesting this 5.35 acre parcel be rezoned from AR 15A to RS 40 for the purpose of later subdividing the property. At present, there are 2 existing houses on 1 lot, which makes it a non-conforming lot. Furthermore, the parcel's current zoning district, AR 15A, requires a minimum lot size of 15 acres, which the parcel does not have, a second condition that makes it a non-conforming lot. By rezoning the property to RS40, the parcel will meet current zoning requirements, be in line with the surrounding parcel zoning, and allow her to subdivide the property later to allow each house to be on its own lot. Rezoning the property essentially will be an administrative housekeeping measure.
Sir?
Move to approve.
Second.
First and second. Mr. and Mrs. Greer present? Present. Great. So we have first and a second. Any additional discussion?
Yes, can y'all come up, and I just wanted to. I mean, I think it's self-explanatory, but right now you're basically already have 2 homes.
Yes.
And so you're wanting to be able to subdivide it or where you could sell or at least have their own plot with the house.
If it becomes necessary, yes.
Okay.
Do both of the homes feed into that same septic tank easement onto the other property, or is that just for one of the homes?
That's just one.
Okay, so the other home, the septic tank would be on its own property?
Correct.
Okay.
We're adding sewer anyway, so.
You vote.
Well, we've applied and paid.
That's not me.
Any additional questions or discussion? So we had a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Item 3, new business. Preliminary plat, Kenny Taylor subdivision, 6 proposed lots on 8.25 acres, property located at 7312 Taylor Road, tax map 42, parcels 76 and 77.08, 8.25 acres, RS 40 zoning district, property owned by Kenny Taylor. I think there's some comments there.
Sir. According to staff, this item needs to be deferred to next month.
Any comments on that deferral at the request, or?
I reached out to the surveyor who had done the initial plat, and there had been comments by the Water Authority at plan review regarding the sewer, and they hadn't, according to the surveyor, they hadn't received any feedback such that they could do the conceptual improvement plan. So I guess they're waiting to hear back from the Water Authority.
Okay. So we hadn't received the right plans yet? Is that what we're saying?
They, the representative from the Water Authority at the plan review indicated he was going to have to do some research on the pressure in the area. So I don't think there's been any follow-up. I don't know that it's been completed. At least that information hasn't been transferred to the surveyor to do the plan.
Okay.
Is how it was explained to me.
Mr. Mangum, the developer present, do you have any update or comment?
Well, I would like to clarify one thing. There will not be an engineered drawing for the sewer line extension. It's either going to be a 2-inch force main extension with 5 individual grinders or a smaller pump station, almost the size of a typical household grinder, that will accommodate the 5. So the Water Authority has told me that it would be simple, and it's borderline of them doing it in-house. They had done one for me about a year ago that had 3 houses on it, and they done it themselves. But he said this, being 5, they probably would just have us do it. They wouldn't want state-approved plans. They would just simply approve what we installed.
Did I hear you say it's going to use just a 2-inch line?
Yeah, all of the force mains most all force mains on 2-inch.
How much of a run is that? Distance?
I mean, you can run several hundred feet on 2-inch. That's most of the city that's on force main is a 2-inch force main line. But we're only extending about 550 feet.
So it sounds like we need some documents just to finalize, I guess, from sewer. If you can try and get them to have a letterhead or something that's, a letter that says what you just mentioned.
Okay.
Any additional questions? So we'll defer it until next month, that recommendation from the staff, until we get those documents there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Potter, do you want us to vote on a deferral? Okay, entertain a motion.
Motion to defer.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. All right, item number 4 on new business. Recommendation on a proposed plan of services to accompany Resolution 01-8, a resolution calling for a public hearing on the proposed annexation of territory into the city of Fairview by owner consent, Shannon Crutcher, and approving a plan of services 7116 New Hope Road, tax map 18, parcel 73. Mr. Jenkins, if you could read in the staff comments for me.
On February 1st, 2017, the Board of Commissioners voted favorably on a resolution calling for a public hearing on the proposed annexation of 7116 New Hope Road. This resolution is accompanied by a plan of services which the Planning Commission is charged with reviewing and recommending back to the Board of Commissioners. The parcel in question is 6.5 acres and fronts New Hope Road just east of its intersection with Jingo Road. The parcel is currently being utilized for residential purposes and has an existing structure on it. The parcel is also contained within the city's urban growth boundary, which makes it suitable for annexation. Should the property be annexed, it will come into the city as RS-40 per the regulations.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. That should say February 1st of 2018.
Oh. Been in the past.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second, Mr. Anderson. We have first and a second. Any discussion or questions for the applicant? Mr. Crutcher is present here. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, sir. Item 5, we'll go into bonds, letter of credit. Item 5, Whispering Winds, request to set the bond amount. We have some comments from the staff. Mr. Jenkins, if you could read those in for me.
This item needs to be deferred until the city receives the most current set of construction plans for the city engineer's review and bond estimate.
Thank you, sir. So this was the project we were talking about earlier, just waiting on some adjustments from the final plat. Okay, so we'll...
Motion to defer.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 6, Fairview Station, request to reduce bond amounts. Staff comments.
Per the attached bond breakdown from the city engineer, the recommended bond amounts should be, for the performance bond for all infrastructure, $224,000. That's phase 1 at $190,000, and phase 2 equal to $34,000.
Thank you, sir. You're ready. We have a representative tonight for Fairview Station. Do we need a representative on a bond? Okay. I have entertained a motion. Ms. Harrison, motion to approve? Yes. So we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion, Mr. Owen?
Yes, sir. Just to clarify, the applicant had requested if the city would entertain the possibility of combining his phase 1 and phase 2 into a single bond amount. That's generally not the standard practice, but with this particular development, the remaining work to be done on both phases is identical as far as what the actual activity that needs to take place, the final coat of asphalt, the sidewalk, the remainder of the sidewalks that aren't currently in, and the street trees. So we offered that as an option to this particular developer if he chose to pursue that, but we've also got those broke down into the different phases if they didn't. Generally, developers don't want to do that because the bond is held until the completion of that phase. So if a developer chooses to combine or roll 2 phases into a single bond, then he can't close that bond out until both phases are completely done. So that's generally not a request we see, but in this scenario, it was applicable, so staff felt like that was something suitable that we could work with. So just to clarify.
Thank you, sir. And last time they were in here, they had some discrepancy on the street trees, but all that's clear. And then the phase 1 will get street trees. Okay. Did we have a first and second? We did. First, second. Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 7, Cumberland Estates Phase 1, request to reduce bond amounts. Staff comments, Mr. Jenkins.
Per the attached bond breakdown from the city engineer, the recommended bond amounts should be performance bond for all infrastructure, $400,000.
Thank you, sir.
Motion to approve.
Second.
First and second, any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys. All right, we will move into reports for discussion and information. Mr. Stanza?
I have nothing tonight, thank you. I appreciate you all coming for the workshop, and I thank our representatives from Griggs and Maloney.
Very much. Mr. Owen?
Thank you, guys. Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. And as always, we appreciate the working relationship we've had with the city of Fairview for the past several years. It's been personally satisfying to work with you guys in a number of different capacities. So we just appreciate that relationship.
Sir? Mr. Potter?
Nothing tonight, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. City Manager. So we'll go to communication from the Planning Commission members. Ms. Slaughter?
Welcome to Sherry. Thank you.
Walls? I enjoyed it. Welcome.
Not always.
Powers?
Nothing tonight.
Callie?
Nothing, thank you.
Commissioner Burks?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mayor Carroll?
I just want to say welcome to Sherry, and we're glad to have you, and thank you for everybody that came tonight. And I know it's hard to make it to workshops, but this is important for us to do, and especially with having such a new board and then making these changes, kind of going along together. I know there's still a lot of gaps when you come on, and there's, a lot of questions still, but I think these steps are going to be very important. Also, I was lucky enough to attend, I missed part of the staff review meeting, but I came in at the tail end of a meeting that Mr. Collins was having with staff. I guess, was it a couple weeks ago, maybe? And I just wanted to share with y'all because I was very impressed and with some of the conversations and the planning they were doing. We've been missing some key parts and just through the process, and I think that I'm very excited about their conversations of how can we clean this up, how can we make it easier, how can we make it where when it comes to the Planning Commission, we're just that rubber stamp of, or reviewing any variances or requests, that we know that time that it gets to us, that it meets our standards, and we're just that extra set of eyes, and that's really how it should be. And over the years, just with changes, it got away from that, and so I'm really excited about the potential of everything coming back and making it just an easier process for everybody, and that when we come in, we're just here to do our job, and we're not having to spend a lot of time rehashing what staff has already done and talking about it, which we've had a habit of doing that over the years. And but it is important that we are doing our part and looking over this. And if you do have questions prior, and if something that is detailed, Kristen's here. So call her, call the staff anytime. And then when we get in here, if there's still more questions or as we speak, obviously we're going to take the opportunity because the citizens are counting on us to get it right. I would suggest going around to some of the subdivisions that we've done and kind of seeing those mess ups, that it might help you. Because when you're just looking at a piece of paper, you may think we need to go a certain way, but until you see the property, sometimes it makes all the difference. So I just wanted to just kind of brag on city staff for just having that important meeting, and then just sharing with y'all that we're in the process of trying to do everything to make it easier. And I know there's no grand manual that you got that said welcome to the Planning Commission, but we may change that too. But they're still here for us. So, and if you need some, like, I'm sure Brandon and I, or even Derek's, could try to answer any questions. So, and that's it. Thank you. Yeah.
We're working to have that take place this year, actually.
I have one from 2000 if you want to see it.
Well, and you can, all the codes are currently online, even though we are changing a lot of that. So that will help you prepare for a meeting if there's something that you want to look up. There is a map here at City Hall if you ever wanted to come by and look at something, or Kristen can easily send you something electronically. Well, electronically is the word.
Thank you. Mr. Jenkins?
Just want to apologize for my tardiness. Thank you for your grace and mercy in allowing me to do that. And, yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Welcome, Ms. Qualls, Mr. Chastain, and Mr. Owen. Thank you guys very much. I look forward to a lot of future discussion. That's all I have tonight. Let's take the motion to adjourn. So moved.